Deputy Gerald Nash was 4 minutes.
The deal announced last week to wind up the IBRC Bank and replace the promissory notes with a long-term bond was, in my opinion, a huge win for the country. In saying that, I would like to join with my colleague, Deputy Conway, in recognising that I'm very cognizant of the plight of the IBRC workers who overnight had their jobs thrown into doubt. And it is extremely important, I want to put it on the record of this House, that there is meaningful engagement with the Irish Bank Officials Association in terms of the circumstances in which their members find themselves. And I want to make sure that those workers are treated very fairly and transparently over the next period of time. Last week's deal will allow us to tear up the promissory note, which all had to be paid within 10 years, and replace them with a government bond, which will not have to be paid for 40 years. The interest will also change from 8% to 3%. Essentially, we swap a short-term overdraft at horrendous interest rates for an arrangement that is equivalent or akin to the type of arrangement that you would expect on a long-term mortgage. Far from putting a millstone around the necks of our children, this deal will allow us to recover and provide our children with jobs and security, with a future in their own country. This is a massive improvement on the deal we inherited when we came into government and will save the taxpayer €20 billion over the next decade. It's not a panacea, but it gives the country considerable breathing space to allow it to recover. We still, of course, need to borrow considerable sums of money every year to meet our daily spending requirements. And, of course, the vast majority of that borrowed money goes to our schools, our hospitals, to our public servants who provide the services in our state. We're not just borrowing to pay banks, despite what some chancellors on the populist left would have you believe. Can I say, Cathaoirleach, I find it extraordinary to witness the twisting of Sinn Féin, in particular, in the last few days. The silence and the discomfort from the Sinn Féin benches when this deal was announced this day last week, I think, gave eloquent testimony to the utter cynicism in their ranks. The best news that this country has received since the start of the banking disaster in 2008 with the bank guarantee was greeted with dismay by them. They didn't know how to react. For the last week, they've been a party in search of an excuse to deny the excellent deal before us. That party would rather the country burn than see it recover if it meant that they would get some sort of short-term political advantage. The party that helped to create the mess in the first place by voting for the bank guarantee on that infamous night have now turned around and voted against the solution. This has more to do, in my opinion, with carving out a space in the political marketplace than any serious consideration of the issue at hand. But returning to the deal, to the solution, to the relief which Fianna Fáil and Sinn Féin said we could not deliver, this isn't just a good deal. It's an important step towards leaving the bailout programme, to regaining control over our own economic affairs and our own destiny. Progress has been made. Ireland was one of the few countries in Europe to register any form of economic growth last year. There will too be growth this year and again in 2014. Ireland will recover, and this deal will help that recovery immeasurably. In the last 10 months, the IDA announced almost 2,000 foreign direct investment jobs in my own constituency of Louth. eBay today, as you will be aware, Cathaoirleach, announced 450 new jobs. Major multinationals invest in stable economies. And we know that, given the massive international welcome for the deal struck last week, that it can and will inspire more confidence in Ireland. The Prom Note deal is a major part of that rebuilding process, and it is very much to be welcomed.
Thank you. I now call on